Hello, Nova Nation. It's WXVU Sports Director David Szczepanski. Villanova men's basketball was back in action last night in Las Vegas at the Hall of Fame series, taking on number 8 BYU. A really tough game for Villanova. Technically in a road environment, even though it was a neutral stadium, technically considered a neutral event. BYU very close to Las Vegas, so there were a lot of BYU fans in the house. But Villanova really played well and honestly impressed. BYU did defeat Villanova by a final score of 71-66, but the Wildcats stormed back. They started off slow in the first half, really picked up in the second half, and actually outscored BYU in the final 20 minutes. Villanova had a lead in the second half with a little bit less than 10 minutes to go in that ball game. And unfortunately, in the last 5 minutes or so, Villanova had a really difficult time knocking down shots, especially from behind the arc. And BYU was able to just score enough, even though BYU did not score more than 30 points in the second half. So Villanova's defense definitely impressed in the final 20 minutes. But BYU was able to defeat Villanova again by a final score of 71-66. For Villanova, really what was impressive, I think, just overall was how the Wildcats were able to stay in this game despite it being the first game of the season, shaking off some of the rust and playing a really competitive Cougar squad. But for Villanova, Lindsay had 22 points to lead Villanova, a lot of those points coming in the second half. In fact, at halftime, Villanova did not have a scorer in double digits, so Lindsay, a lot of his work came in the second half, technically came off the bench. Devin Askew was back. He started last night for Villanova, but did play less than 20 minutes in this game as he was on a minutes restriction coming back from a knee injury. Also, too, Chris Jeffrey had 11 points for Villanova in his first game as a Wildcat. And also, too, Duke Brennan had 8 points in this game, but 15 rebounds. Villanova won the rebounding battle against a very tall BYU team. Villanova did an excellent job, especially at grabbing second chance opportunities in terms of offensive rebounds. So again, Duke Brennan, 8 points, 15 rebounds, with a lot of his work coming in the second half. So Villanova's second half comeback did fall just a little short as BYU was able to defeat Villanova in the end by 5 points. But the Wildcats, again, thought it was a very competitive game. The Wildcats had a gritty battle in this game against BYU. Villanova, of course, will fall to 0-1 now after the loss to the Cougars, but the Wildcats will come back home to the Finneran Pavilion and take on Queens this Saturday. Should be a fun one here. The Wildcats will have a few days off as they come back from Las Vegas. And again, get ready for the home opener on Saturday here against Queens. Thanks for tuning into this Villanova versus BYU recap video, Nova Nation, from a windy day here on campus. And as always, go Cats!